Okay, the purpose of this video is to demonstrate the way I believe are the best ways to play my turkey calls. What I have here is a butternut with a walnut bottom and a black cherry lid. Butternut is a very user-friendly wood, and it's a good wood to call in turkeys. But the way I do the basic yip, and that's what we're going to start out with here, and I'm going to show you, is I offset the lid about this much. It's about halfway. I don't go way, really offset it a long ways unless I'm going to try to do a kiki. But I do about halfway, and I take, for a left-handed person, it's basically the same for a left-handed or a right-handed person. I put the lid between my index finger and my thumb, which would be the same thing for a right-handed person, between the index finger and the thumb. And then what you want to do, I see a lot of people, what they try to do is they try to call stiff arm. You don't really want to do that. You want to call you want to really free your wrist up and call all wrists. So what you can do is stick your elbow in your side and do that to kind of take your forearm out of play. Just lay it up against your belly and then just stroke it. And what you want to do is you want to keep the lid down on the calling surface. You don't want to be picking up on it and calling down on it. You know, to me that's more like what I call a walking hen yelp. If you want to do a choppy type yelp where a hen's walking and yelping. But the basic yelp, I like to keep the lid down on the arc and do a short stroke, kind of like this. Like 3-note, 4-note. And I'm going to do it left-handed also. That's all you really need to do. And you don't want to, when you're doing the yelp, you don't want to close off the sound chamber all the way. Because if you do that, then you get more of a gobbler yelp in there than you are a hen yelp. You just want to do a short stroke. Hold the bottom of the call firm also. Don't let it be flopping around in your hand. Just hold it good firm, but don't get your fingers up on the sides of the call either, unless you want to tone it down a little bit. You can just do a short stroke, keeping it down on the arc. I'll do it left-handed. You see, I'm just pretty much just very light pressure between my thumb and index finger, and I'm pretty much using all wrist to do the stroke. Now, the next thing I want to show will be the cluck. And what I do when I cluck on the call is I hold it between, kind of like this in my left hand, put my index finger on top, my thumb on the right side, and my middle finger on the other side. And I press down on it slightly, hold it, offset it again about halfway, press down and pop up. I'm going to do it on the other side now. Doing it with right hand, I actually pretty much do it different. You would do it a little different there. You actually got your thumb on top and your I'm not good at doing it with right hand because I'm a left-hander, but that's basically the way you would do the cluck. Now the next one I will show you, you can also do a cluck, before I get ahead of myself here, you can also do a cluck by putting your thumb against the side of the call like this, and then you take your hand and you just kind of badly tap the lid real lightly, kind of hitting the lid against your thumb. I'm going to do it on the other side with a right-hander. That's another way of doing the cluck. Okay, that's basically two different ways that you can do the cluck, whichever kind of works better for you. One may be easier to you than the other. And the next thing I want to show you is how I do a purr on a box call. With my left hand, I take it and I hook these two fingers right here over the handle, and I put this thumb on the side of the call right here. And I just kind of press against the caul a little bit with my thumb. You hold the bottom of the base firm in your hand, and I put a little downward pressure. And I just slightly pull the lid toward me. And it would be the same thing for a right-hander, except you'd use your right hand, hook it with the same two fingers, put your thumb against the side of the caul. I can't do it as good with my right hand as I can with my left, but for a right-hander, you do it the same way, it's just a different hand. And then the next thing I would want to show would be the cut on the box. Basically, you can do it the same way I was showing to do a cluck. You put your thumb on the side of the caul. I'm going to do it first like this for a right-hander. I'm putting my thumb on my left hand, I'm holding the bottom of the caul firm, putting the thumb about halfway up the side of the caul. And I just take and hit you can hit up here, or you can hit down here at the handle, you can move up and down to make it sound different. Alright, now I'm going to do it left-handed. You can make it sound different by moving your hand up and down the lid. I'm going to go to this side again for the right-hander. Okay, that's your basic yelp. That's your cluck, your purr, your cutting, and then the only thing left that I haven't showed you yet is the gobble. So I'm going to show you how to do that now. The gobble is basically you doing the same thing. You're offsetting the lid about halfway, and you're going to take your fingers between your. I'm going to do it with my left hand to start with. You're taking your thumb and your index finger, and you're putting it on the caul like this. And then what I do is I just take and get ready. When you do this, really, you want to work on getting your wrist really limbered up. You really shake it loose. And you just take and start up here and run down the caul toward the handle, like this. And that's how I do the gobble. And for the right hand, it'd be the same way, except just use your right hand. You start up here and run down the caul with your right hand, shaking your wrist. You got to really free your wrist up to do that. And that just requires a little more practice. You know, it's just something once you really learn to get your wrist limbered up, you can do that good. You can another way of doing it also is by putting your fingers on either side of the handle and offsetting it the same about halfway, and just shaking the handle. And the same thing for a right hander. You're holding it the same two fingers and doing the same thing, offsetting it about halfway and then shaking the handle. That's most of the basic cauls of calling on a box caul. This was on a field grade caul. As I said, this was cherry and butternut. Now I'm going to do it on a cedar and maple caul, just to so you can see there's a difference. Each wood has a little different sound to it. And if you go with mahogany, it's going to have a different sound, or cedar. And this caul here is a red cedar, aromatic red cedar body with a spalted maple lid. Sometimes I usually use hard maple lids on cedar cauls. This is just something I've been experimenting with. This is a caul I was making for Davis Love III. It's a caul I'm going to be sending to him. I'm going to do the basic yelp first. As I showed before, holding the lid between your index finger and your thumb, offsetting the lid about halfway, and then doing a short stroke. Being a 3-note, 4-note. I'm going to do it on the other side. Okay, and now I'm going to do the cluck on the cedar box. Now on the other side. cut. Now the burr. Okay, and now the gobble. That gives you this, kind of shows you how the different sound is between the cedar box and the butternut box. Okay, we've gone through the basic ways to do a hen yip on the box call, the traditional way, which is holding it like this and doing like this. But another way that I like to call on the box call, and sometimes it's more comfortable to some people, I like to hold the box call upside down and call on it like this. With on a left-handed person, which I am, I hold the lid between my index finger and middle finger, and I hold the bottom of the call up toward the handle end, and I just take and do pretty much all wrist again like you do with the regular stroke on the other way. Some people it's actually more comfortable for them to call on the call this way. I'm going to turn it over now and do it with my right hand, hold it between the same two fingers, offsetting the lid about halfway. Alright, and another way that I like to call is by taking the call and holding the handle, same two fingers, holding the call upside down, holding down toward the screw end this time, and taking it and offsetting it about the same, about halfway, and just working the body of the call. Again, you're keeping it on the arc, keeping the lid riding on the arc. Do it again the other way, right-handed. That's another way. That's two more ways of calling on a box call. Holding it upside down like this, and then turning it upside down and using the body of the call to call like this. And another thing I didn't show you also earlier was I didn't show you about toning the call down. If it's too loud and you want to tone it down a little bit, you put your thumb on the side of the call and you'll hear the difference. You can actually muffle the sound by where you put the thumb on the side of the call. You can work it, move it up or down, up or down the call, or up and down vertically. It just changes the sound. You can hear the difference from when I take my fingers off